Hi guys, hope all of you are doing very well wherever you're joining us from the world. And it's time for another edition of ESPN Cricket Info Open Mic, where we make the conversation about the fans and the viewers of cricket. And you can join in on the hot topic that we've picked in the week. And there are rarely hotter topics than what's going on in Pakistan cricket. And when you saw the little build up to this Open Mic episode, it said recent developments of Pakistan cricket. There have been so many. We were hoping to bring you this last week, but there's more and more that's happening in Pakistan cricket. So whenever the conversation is about cricket in Pakistan, it's only fair that we bring the voice of Pakistan cricket to join us in Open Mic. So it's a debut being handed out to Ramiz Raja. Ramiz, how are you doing? Looking good in this new lockdown look, I must say. Thanks for joining us.
These strange time, but good to have you on board. This is the first time we are interacting.
Yes.
You've been on my case through email, but first time face to face, so it's great.
Yeah, the lockdown has brought us together. I don't know if it's me. I'm just trying to get Ramiz's video just right. We could hear his audio absolutely fine, but I think we'll just tweak that and make sure that the connection in Lahore is not going to let us down. So come on, Ramiz, the Wi-Fi of Lahore and their reputation is at stake. I hope the video works just fine because I'm getting a still frame from you. Can you hear me loud and clear? Can you see me well? Let's hope Ramiz will emerge sooner rather than later. But we're going to be with Ramiz for a while now. So why don't you start with the questions and comments, and I'll put them through to Ramiz as soon as he's back with me. And just get ready. There's going to be a lot of Babar Azam conversation. That's already something I'm noticing on our live YouTube feed. And as Ramiz joins us again, we will continue this conversation we'll start this conversation on Pakistan cricket. So there's lots that happen. You know Babar Azam's been made ODI captain after already having the job in the T20 department, and you also knew that there are recent appointments that have been made in Pakistan cricket, like Saklan Mushtaq and Grant Bradburn, been given roles in Pakistan cricket. So we'll talk about all that. Now Ramiz is back. I think now we've got it. So Ramiz, now you can see me loud and clear, and I can see you as well. Now let me welcome you. Welcome back, Ramiz Raja.
Thank you so much. I think that pause gave me a time to go through one of the Ghalib's verses, and it is regarding you.
Please.
It says, and in this COVID times, it is absolutely perfect. उनके देखे से जो आ जाती है चेहरे पर रौनक या मुंह पर रौनक, sorry, उनके देखे से जो आ जाती है मुंह पर रौनक, वो समझते हैं बीमार का हाल अच्छा है. So I'm doing well as I can in strange times, but good to see you.
Wonderful. Absolutely. I can't top that. We should end the show now only. Forget it. Forget the conversation on Pakistan cricket. Bahut ho gaya. But very kind. And thank you, Ramiz. That's a lovely start. Now, I'm already seeing the questions pouring in. So let's take it straight away. And the first few questions, this is Yavar Abbas on our YouTube about Babar Azam. So too from Cricket with Hessie about Babar. Yavar saying... talking about Babar, the batting. But let's talk about Babar, the captain, and being given the ODI captaincy. Some of us think it's almost inevitable that it would happen. Were you happy with the timing of it and Babar being given the ODI captaincy, Ramiz?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can experiment a little bit more in limited overs format, that is. But I think this is the way to go. You've got to engage a young mind, a young person who's got great ability to bat. And I think now only time will tell whether he's good enough to hold his post as a skipper, as a captain. But obviously, he'll take baby steps. Still a long way to go. You learn captaincy or about captaincy on the job. And it's not going to be simple, easy, because Pakistan have been sort of smacked from right and left in one-day format. So it's important for him to first feel his way through, get the focus on the job, get the arsenal in position. I would want him to experiment just a little bit more with youth, because the last PSL, the recent PSL, we saw some great batting talents. 3 or 4 of the names that propped up, Heather Ali and Khushdil. So he can engage these young cricketers and make it happen for Pakistan. But I think he's a good, solid choice.
Now, the thing is, we are all looking at Babar Azam as perhaps this is now the start of this purple patch, or where he establishes himself as one of the main batsmen of the world. To be given the captaincy, this is an interesting question from Shivam Verma from our from our YouTube live. Shivam asks, do you think Babar can overcome the politics that prevails in Pakistan cricket to establish himself as one of the greats and all-time greats in world cricket? It's always that challenge. Your best batsman, will captaincy in any way come in the way of that batsmanship, or is Babar Azam, does he have the goods to be able to manage both?
Unfortunately, it's a perception. The politics in Pakistan, it has marred our progress in the past years, but I think the present lot is pretty decent that way. I think it's a good, healthy dressing room environment, but it would still be a challenge. What I obviously want him to understand is that captaincy comes at a price. So you've got to look at what is best for your team. You've got to have a combination that works for Pakistan, irrespective of your friends being shown the door or being benched. I think that is going to really test him out, because, you know, you've got friends that have played with you during the under 19 times, under 19 years. Then you've shared the dressing room when you played for Pakistan. And certainly now you become the skipper, and you've got to take that call, which is the all-important call to for the team. And so he's got to understand that the team options come first and the others come second and third.
Sure. From Shivam Verma on YouTube, we'll go to Prabhanjan Verma on our Facebook. Ramiz has been advocating drafting younger players into the Pakistan squad. With Babar at the helm now, do you think it's going to happen sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think it's important to give him a bit of freedom. I think it's important for him to understand his job, his value as a skipper. And he must express himself. He wants to be another Imran Khan. I think he wants to captain like Imran. And so with Imran, it was important for Imran to engage young cricketers. He had an eye for talent, Imran, and then he backed them to the hilt. And I think Babar, if he is to follow in Imran's footsteps, it's important for him to first understand the value of a young talent, what he brings to the table. You know, it freshens the cricket environment, the dressing room environment, your fielding improves, and is desperate to perform. And so he can take that all in, Babar, and make use of that that freedom that comes by involving a young cricketer. So eye for talent, backing that talent to the hilt, and having the freedom to express himself as a skipper in terms of sort of policy, in terms of guidance, in terms of authority.
Yeah. Now, there are as many questions on Babar Azam as there are on Ramiz at the moment. And some of them include, how cool does Ramiz's house look? And oh, wow, that's from Peter Retral on our Facebook. Another one is from Kaisar Latif, saying, Ramiz loving the musketeer look. So I must say, I've never seen you to be one to experiment too much with your looks, Ramiz. This is something new that I'm noticing.
Yeah, at my age, you've got to be very careful, because it usually does misfire most of the time. So this is the COVID effect, actually. Nothing more.
Let's get back to the Pakistan cricket story and the conversation. Mohsin Zubair on our Facebook Live. What about the future of Sarfaraz Ahmed now in the prevailing scenario? Of course, demoted in his contracts and whatnot. And what happens to Sarfaraz now, Ramiz?
I think he's still very much in the loop, because the replacement Rizwan, even though he's 100% a team player and will give his 100%, even more than 100%. He's a fantastic keeper, but not a great batsman keeper. And so if Pakistan are to struggle in the batting department, they still need a Sarfaraz. So Sarfaraz's career is certainly not over. He is in the loop, should be in the loop, and should get a go very soon in limited overs cricket.
I'm just asking you this, someone who's outside Pakistan cricket. I mean, somewhere I look at Sarfaraz and I think, was he dealt with unfairly in some ways? He was still, I think, a good enough player to be part of this team, even if captaincy was not for him. I used to enjoy his candid post-match captain comments. He was a breath of fresh air if you look at all the other banal stuff that comes out from captains. But somewhere I feel like, Sarfaraz was perhaps made the scapegoat at that time. Do you somewhere feel he was treated unfairly?
Not really, Raunak. I think there's a shelf life of a captain. And, even the great Imran Khan, after 3-4 years of captaincy, he lost that magic touch because there's nothing new to share in the dressing room. So it was time to move on. And I think it was time for Sarfraz to move on as well because he had shared everything with his mates. He had ideas, he executed those ideas. But after a while, after 3-4 years being in the helm of affairs, I think you lose that winning touch, you lose that element of surprise. And I think time was right for him really to move on.
All right, let's take this from Fayaz Motani on our Facebook Live. I quite like this question. If multi-format cricket is the way to go in the future, should Babar play in the test side or lead his ODI or T20 side? Now, we know the conversation in English cricket that they are looking at the possibility of having two teams play concurrently, ODIs or T20s and test teams play concurrently. But maybe I'll have this as a longer conversation on Babar, who doesn't quite have the test captaincy yet. Now, is that just a matter of time and a process, or are you a fan of the multi-captaincy, multi-format theory, Ramiz?
Yeah, I'd like him to play all the formats because his batting will improve. The more test cricket he plays, the better batsman he'll become in other formats. And I think if he's given the captaincy role in the test matches, I think it'll serve Pakistan better. Maybe in the next year and a half, 2 years, he should be ready to take over the captaincy in test match cricket. But he's got to learn very quickly. It's all about performing. It's all about being fearless. I think the approach has got to really be about not worrying about losing a contest. And I think in Pakistan of late, because of the media pressure, because of how Pakistan have featured and fared quite badly in test cricket, in 50 overs cricket, that they've become a little bit more circumspect in their approach. And so I want him to go out there and express himself and not worry about losing. I think he'll learn about captaincy. The more he experiments, the more he takes those chances, the more he expands his range, I think the better captain he'll become.
Okay, let's keep those Babar Azam conversations coming. I think they'll keep coming up, but let's take some more now. Since we discussed Sarfraz Ahmed and Ramiz has already mentioned Rizwan, Zishan Bhatti with a comment on our Facebook Live. Is he our choice for T20 keeping? That's Zishan speaking for the Pakistani fans. Do you think Rizwan is good enough with the bat?
Not yet. I think it's got to, as I said, I've got nothing against Rizwan because he gives you 100%. He's a terrific team player to have in the dressing room. He puts in 100% effort every time. I think he's just got to improve his running between the wickets because he's been lackluster, to say the least. He's been taken out, run out so many times in his short career. But I'd like to see Sarfraz still involved in 20 overs cricket because, he'll provide experience and he'll provide a good advice or, be a good second in command to Babar Azam. He's still young in T20 captaincy terms, Babar. And the fact is that he can expand his range. He's got the game for T20, Sarfraz. And so he could still be very useful.
Yeah, I mean, on cue, Mohammad Asif on our Facebook Live saying, promote Sarfraz as an opener. He's good enough as an opener in ODIs and T20s. Now, I remember the 2015 World Cup. I think Sarfraz was instrumental in sort of just turning the fortunes of Pakistan when he came up at the top of the order. So perhaps that's the place for him as just a, play freely as an opener in white ball cricket.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, Pakistan should be able to find a solid opening pair. You see, all great cricket sides in the world have a great opening pair, have a great opening fast bowling pair, great wicket keeper. I mean, you look at the teams of the team of the 70s, the West Indies, for example, or the Australians, when they were in their prime, they used to have great opening pairs, with the bat and ball, and behind the stumps they had Rodney Marsh and later Ian Haley, and then Jeffrey Dujon and a few others like him. So Pakistan must find a solid opening pair because it releases the pressure of the middle order. If you get a good beginning in limited overs cricket, then half the job is done. So it's imperative for Pakistan really to not make this as a makeshift arrangement, even though Sarfraz can be handy with the bat at the top order. But I'd still want a settled opening pair for Pakistan.
All right. As I scan through these comments, which are coming thick and fast, so clearly our Facebook and YouTube feeds have gone through the roof because we've got Ramiz Raja now to finally debut on Open Mic. But we're going to try and squeeze as much through to him as we can in this limited time. Now, it's not just Babar and Sarfraz. Shadab Khan has been very regularly featuring in these comments. So let me take a few. And I thought Shadab was amazing to just follow in the PSA. Looked like the real MVP of the tournament. And we've got questions on Shadab the batsman, Shadab the captain, and Shadab the all-rounder. So let's take that. Mushtaq Ahmed asking if Shadab Khan can be a good T20 captain. There's also one more from Shadab that I want to try and find it, which was about Shadab batting perhaps at number 4 even in white ball cricket. So take me through what you make of Shadab Khan and what his future could be like, Ramiz.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. And there are a lot of possibilities with Shadab in the middle order as a strike force, because his batting has improved quite tremendously. Maybe because he was leading his side in the PSL, that made him more aware of his responsibilities, made him do just that extra bit more. And it happens when you're put into that position more often than not. I think if Pakistan can't find a good middle order or a regular middle order, then you've got to promote these all-rounders up the batting positions and make use of them. So I'm all in favor of promoting Shadab, because now he's got the feel for it. He's got the big strikes. He's got hold of his nerves as well. He can play a strong innings in a nerve-wracking or a tense situation. And then he can bowl. He's a brilliant fielder, possibly Pakistan's best fielder in T20 cricket. So there are a lot of advantages to have Shadab in that middle order, and then to attack with him as a leg spinner. Yeah, I mean, captaincy could be a good choice if Babar Azam feels that, his batting is not clicking as a T20 leader, and Pakistan would want Babar Azam to be first, the major force with the bat, and then as a leader, because in T20, you don't need great leadership. Everyone has to perform as a leader, because time is so short in T20 that the captain can't go and spoon feed everyone. So everyone, all the players need to captain themselves. And I think so. If it comes to giving it to Shadab, the leadership in T20, I wouldn't mind that at all.
All right, let's take some more questions, and they're coming thick and fast. This is from Shlok Rakhecha on our Facebook Live. Did Amir and Wahab get a rough deal?
Not really. I think Mohammad Amir was helped quite tremendously throughout his anguish years, where he was under pressure, where he was bailed out by the cricket board, where he was bailed out by the cricket fans, not from Pakistan, but all over the world, because he got caught in an impressionable age, and everyone felt that he should be given another go, and he was given another go. But then he pulled out of Test match cricket at 27, and it didn't sit well with the fans, with the cricket board. Similarly, Wahab retired when Pakistan needed a strong performer with the ball in Test match cricket. They needed his experience. And I think they've been given enough chances really to play for Pakistan, and pulling out themselves has not really sat well with the authorities. So I don't think they've been given the rough deal at all.
Okay, this is again coming back to the opening conversation question, and whether there could be an arrangement for Babar and Imam ul Haq to open up a slot then for a batsman. I'm just going to find that question as it was a little while back, but let me just get hold of it. Yeah, but that was the question. Can Babar and Imam ul Haq be tried at the top to open up a batsman's position?
Well, you see, both are very similar in style. I mean, Babar obviously has got plenty of talent and class, and he can be a match winner at the top order. But involving two players who are studious, who play a lot of shots along the ground, I think it could be a bit of a giveaway for the opposition. I'd like to have someone exciting and from one end to experiment a little bit more and allow Babar Azam to play his natural innings, which is to go right till the end. And I think that is where he's been so successful. So I want a big smasher at the other end with Babar.
All right. This is from Shiraz Fasi, and I like that he's brought this up. Ramiz already mentioned Haider Ali at the top of our chat, but let's talk a bit about him. Talking about young blood, how can we forget Haider Ali? He's been very good in the Pakistan under-19 and was phenomenal in the PSL, says Shiraz Fasi. People are calling him the next big thing after Babar Azam for Pakistan. What are Ramiz's thoughts on him?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed his batting. He had a lot of confidence and self-belief. He could hit the ball straight. He's a powerful hitter. All he needs to do is to find some consistency. I think with time, he'll understand his game as well. I think he's too young and raw at this stage to know of his potential. But he's got to be nurtured properly. I think he's got to find the right environment where he is not asked to stop his natural belligerence and aggression. I think what he has to do is to make sure that he becomes consistent and look to hit the ball a little bit straighter than going across the line.
Yeah, there are questions on a lot of young upcoming Pakistan players that show a lot of promise, and perhaps none greater and more exciting than Naseem Shah, who took our eyes and our attention certainly when he made his debut in at the international stage. Syed Bilal Rashid asking Ramiz, how instrumental can Naseem Shah be in Pakistan's tour of England, which it looks like they're going to find every possible way of making happen. So if that does happen, what kind of role can Naseem Shah have in England? It's an exciting prospect, Ramiz.
Yeah, very, very exciting. I think exciting times for Pakistan cricket once again, because there are 3, 4 like Naseem Shah in pace and quality. Shine Shah Afridi, let's not forget him. I mean,
Yeah.
he brings in value and almost greatness with his bowling these days, because he can get that ball back into the stumps and from a left armer. That's absolutely magical. But yeah, I mean, Naseem Shah, you've got to understand that he can't be loaded more than what is required at his age, at this stage of his career, because he's broken down 2, 3 times so far in his initial burst. So you've got to understand that only that much his body can take at this stage. And so let his body mature, because it's still work in progress, but it'll give you a fantastic bowling performance in one test match, maybe 1.5 test match. And so just work him through the drills. Don't burden him too much that he breaks down. So it's important that he's taken on every tour, that his body becomes a little stronger, that he's given a certain role, he understands his role, and then take it from there.
Okay, this is from Amar bin Farouk on our Facebook Live, and we come back a little bit to the Sarfaraz question, but this is more about the management as well. Do you think Sarfaraz can make it back to this team when Misbah and Waqar are coaching the side? Waqar has never liked him, and he said so very openly during the 2015 World Cup. We can assume that Misbah's equation with him also is not favorable at the moment, but that is also a perception, Ramiz, isn't it? There's a lot of influence, a lot of say that, and rightly so with the power and the control Misbah-ul-Haq has on this team, that a lot of decisions might just be shaped that way. What do you make of that in terms of the chances and prospects for some players, including Sarfaraz?
You see, Raunak, I still give Waqar and Misbah the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that they have bad in the heart for Pakistan cricket. I think
Sure.
if form will allow his inclusion, I'm sure that he'll be included. So let's not get into that frame of mind where before he's included in the side, you create those hurdles and roadblocks that because Waqar is there and Misbah doesn't like him a lot, that he'll not be included. So let's give these guys a clean sheet. And let's hope that Sarfaraz gets some runs.
Yeah, the thing about everyone in the subcontinent is we expect things to happen very quickly, don't we? We don't like to stay put and be patient and see what happens. Okay, there's another question. There's another that's popping up regularly in the comments. Saurabh Rajput, and there were a lot of others on Kamran Akmal. I love the Kamran Akmal story. Every time you might forget about him, the PSL comes along, and Kamran Akmal turns out to be this Bradman-esque version of himself. So there are genuine questions. Can he be a contender for the T20 World Cup whenever that happens? Kamran is doing well in domestic cricket. He's a good opening option. What are Ramiz's views on Kamran Akmal?
Yeah, I wish I could back him to play international cricket, but I think his time is gone, unfortunately. He's very good at domestic level. And in PSL, you can find a couple of bowlers in every game where you can have a go at them and score big. But to his credit, he's not thrown it away. He's still involved. He's still a match winner at the domestic level. But for international cricket, I think there's more required. And so at 36 or 37, you've got to look at somebody else, a younger prospect than Kamran Akmal.
Okay, that's like pouring cold water on all the Kamran Akmal fans in a very, very sophisticated and polite way that we can expect from Ramiz. But yeah, it's a more than fair comment. Sheikh Rafe, which is a nice question again. What is the future of Fahim Ashraf? How can Pakistan find an all-rounder like Razak?
Yeah, it's a good question, Raunak, because this is what has been happening in Pakistan cricket of late. Take the example of Hassan, the pacer, Fahim Ashraf, another who started off brilliantly, had a lot of promise, and then fell away. So we've had such examples. And so I feel that the real job of the Pakistan think tank, the coaching the coaching staff, is to make sure that young talents don't go astray, that there's a proper kind of a report card on them, that they're followed properly at the domestic level, and if they're not performing to their skill level, to the promise that they showed in the initial years, then you've got to sort them out. Maybe at times it just needs getting the focus back. Maybe at times it just needs to understand that individual. Where you're going wrong, what is happening? There could be emotional factors, there could be physical factors, there could be skill factors. So I think Pakistan have lost so many articles like Fahim Ashraf in the last few years, that it is so sad. And I think it's the job of the think tank, the coaching staff, to make sure that Fahim Ashraf is not lost to the cause.
Yeah, I mean, it's a novelty. The seam bowling all-rounder, we know how important that can be if you crack it right. We've seen that with Hardik Pandya in India. The minute you take him out, the entire balance of the team goes for a toss. Another player that is being discussed at the moment is Haris Sohail. So from Shiraz Fasi again, from our Facebook Live. Haris Sohail, promising individual, seemed to be a revelation during the 2019 World Cup. But since then, he hasn't been at his best and seems to have lost focus. What are Ramiz's thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's not 100%. Every time I see him, he seems to be sort of not there in the field. Maybe it's his knee injury that plays up every now and then. Maybe he needs to get his focus back. Maybe he's so talented that he doesn't really work hard. I think it's important that you back that natural potential with a lot of hard work, and that you need to be consistent. At times he plays brilliant innings. He's superb against spin, but it's the efficiency, the consistency that he lacks at times, and the approach. I think it's got to show more want. It's got to show more consistency, and I think it's got to become better in the field as well.
Okay, now this is, I think, the question of the entire chat. It's from Osman Siddiqui on our Facebook Live, and he says, Fawad Alam, ? That's the whole question. That's all he says.
Yeah, I know. Fawad Alam's case is a curious one, because when he was playing well, I think he wasn't considered, and now I think he's, the young players that are coming through, and the fact is that no PSL franchise took him on board as well. So I don't know what is happening on that front, because if you look at the stats, they are tremendous. I mean, his first-class record is outstanding, but it's just that, all the coaching staff, not the present one, but the previous ones also, never sort of liked him. And so you've got to ask this question to the coaching staff, because from a distance, I mean, if you look at his stats, they are fantastic.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Fawad Alam questions now coming in, and he is an enigma of sorts in Pakistan cricket. I know the kind of following he does have, and well, it's hard to make international cricket teams, isn't it? We say that about so many players. This is a nice question that's also coming. I've just lost it as I was supposed to. There it is. Tayyab Warech on our Facebook Live. I hope I pronounced that right. When will the PCB plan a women's PSL? Yeah,
I think that they're getting the ladies to commentate, so which is a good start. I think the next step in a year or two, maybe when the cricket economy improves in Pakistan, I'm sure we'll see women's cricket and women's PSL. So it's just around the corner as far as I'm concerned.
Kamran Khan, what about the future of Hafiz and Malik? Seems like there will always be some future for Hafiz and Malik, and they're a big fan. There's a lot of fan following for Hafiz and Malik, but Ramiz, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I know. I think it's unfortunate that it's still sort of trying to get these 37, 38-year-olds back in the Pakistan lineup. So it just tells me that we've not really been able to promote any young talent or any young quality talent. And that's a big worry. Alarm bells should ring in the PCB corridors, in the coaching corridors of Pakistan cricket, that why these two players are still being preferred by the fans. Because if you look at the Indian scenario, for example, so you had a new Sachin Tendulkar in Virat Kohli, so the greats like Saurav Ganguly and few others like Ganguly, Dravid, and all these guys, they were almost forgotten in 3 or 4 years because they were replaced by fabulous talent. And I think this has not really happened in Pakistan. And so I think a lot of emphasis has got to be put into these things, and to make sure that we find new talent so that it helps Pakistan cricket for future endeavors. Because going back to a 38-year-old in a World Cup year is absolutely disastrous as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, absolutely. Let's move on. Abdul Dawood, what are your thoughts on Fakhar Zaman? Abdul asks on our Facebook Live, with the emergence of Haider Ali and etc., do you think he can still make a comeback?
Yeah, I mean, just been a little disappointed with Fakhar because he started off brilliantly, as we all know. That
Yeah.
Champions Trophy 100 against India was big. So he's temperamentally rock solid. If you can get 100 in that all-important final, you know that you're made for top quality cricket. But it's to do with his technique and his I think he's tense mentally also. I think he's too bottom-handed at times, and I think and now he's trying to work on his top hand, and so his batting has gone haywire completely. So he needs to sit himself down, look at what has transpired in the last 2-3 years, where his batting has gone down, his consistency has gone down because he's not featured well against the short ball also. And to open against an international quality side, you'll be bombarded with bouncers. So it's his bottom hand play and it's his ability to hook the ball that's got him down. And I think it's worrying times for him.
All right, a lot of questions on Shan Masood. If we focus on the test team of Pakistan and questions on those lines, Shan Hemani is asking on our Facebook Live. He was great in this year's PSL. Do you think he can be an option to lead Pakistan in the test side? There were also a lot of questions on Shan Masood and him anointed as a potential future skipper for the test team. Thoughts on that, Ramiz?
You see, Raunak, in our part of the world, I've got to say it with a heavy heart, that your best player is generally made the captain of the side. And Shan Masood is clearly not your best player. So going by the Asian standards, I think it'll be difficult to slot him in as a skipper, but he's got the mind of a captain. I thought he did fantastically well with a young franchise during PSL. So he had a plan. He listened to everyone and did what was best for the side according to that situation, planned it and executed it perfectly. So there's hope. And let's just hope that he keeps on performing with the bat at Test match cricket. Who knows? Maybe one day.
Okay, we've taken I'll take a lighter question. Mohammad Saqib, please ask Ramiz where he got his shirt from. So all yours, Ramiz, give away fashion tips now.
All right, okay. So this was a cloth material which my wife had bought from India.
Oh, really?
So this is actually a lady's print. So I liked it so much that I went to the tailor and got it stitched for myself. And I think it's pretty trendy. You see the collar, the back. So this back was the dupatta actually.
Well done, Ramiz. I'll tell you what, between the two of us, only you can pull that off, carry that off. So I'm going to leave that to you. I'm not getting into it. And I don't know whether this gentleman, when he asked this question, was asking out of, excitement that he really liked the shirt or the other thing. So I'm not going to speculate on that front either. Right. Some more questions coming in. I know there's so many. We'll just take a few more where this has been going on for a long time now. And it's been great having this conversation on Pakistan cricket. Sharik Tariq, can Shadab Khan play test cricket? That's a nice question by Sharik on our Facebook Live.
You see, Raunak, all these cricketers must aspire to become test players and good test players, because that is the real challenge. I just hope that too much of T20 cricket doesn't alter their focus. Because if you want to become a champion cricketer, ask Virat Kohli, ask Williamson, ask any greats of the game. They'll tell you test cricket is the ultimate championship, is the ultimate challenge. And I think you're selling yourself short if you're just looking to play white ball cricket. So I just hope that Shadab improves his bowling. I think his bowling has gone down a little because he's not getting the ball to leg spin a lot. So he's got to work on his skills, because he's got the temperament. He could be a Jadeja for us. But provided that he thinks that Test cricket is the ultimate challenge, then he wants to become a great Test player.
All right, this is from Keshav Huria asking us if Pakistanis were allowed in the IPL, who would have made the cut at the auction apart from Babar? Now, at the top of my head, with the way we value left arm seam, anyone who can roll their arm over left arm seam gets picked for crores of rupees, Ravi. So I can already think of quite a few, but it would be an exciting prospect to think of those that would certainly be in demand if the IPL auction did allow for Pakistan players at this time.
Yeah, Raunak, I think PSL has shown us a lot of potential with the ball. So I'd expect a lot of Pakistani fast bowlers being picked.
Sure.
Because the fast bowling standard has been outstanding. I've talked with a lot of overseas players who have participated and been part of PSL, and they feel that this is the best challenge with the ball that they've featured in. So Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah and Hasnan and couple of more like them could have featured in the IPL, I think.
All right. I'll take one because there are quite a few coming in on who is the frontline leg spinner now for Test cricket. Adnan Shahid asking what happened, what went wrong with the release of Yasir Shah when we're discussing the recent contracts that Pakistan cricket announced. And there's also a question on who can be. Abrar Ahmed asking us on Facebook, do we have an alternative for Yasir Shah in Tests?
Yeah, I think Yasir Shah, I don't know what went wrong with him because his confidence went for a toss. I think in that series against Australia, I think he wasn't laid well as a leg spinner. I think you've got to properly plan an assault in Australia through your leg spin. And I think there were far too many changes made in the field, and he had to then adjust his line and bowling according to the field that was set for him. So, after every 2 or 3 minutes, a short leg fielder was taken out, a deep cover was positioned, and easy singles were milked by the Australians. So he couldn't put any pressure on the Australians. Whereas in subcontinent conditions, even against England, his record has been good. But it is an alarming fact that Yasir Shah may not be the force that we reckon he could be in the next year or two. And so Pakistan need to find a solid replacement. Maybe a left armer, maybe an off spinner. Who knows? Maybe get after Shadab Khan and make him bowl a bit better.
This is from Daniel Sheikh on our Facebook Live. What about Amir Yamin? Does he deserve a permanent place in the Pakistan team as an all-rounder?
Well, I think he's a consistent performer in the domestic leagues. He plays overseas leagues as well. So he's got experience. He's big-hearted. But I don't know whether he's got a scope in the Pakistan playing 11. I don't think so at this stage.
You know what? We've had more questions, I think, on selection than anything else. And that tends to be the conversation in all cricket. So I think this is a fitting final question to take. It's from Umar Farooq. Now, I can't see the picture. I hope this is not Umar Farooq, who, of course, does such fine writing for us and reporting for us from Pakistan. But he simply put Ramiz Raja for coach/selector of Pakistan in the future. And these days, they're both one and the same thing. So let's ask Ramiz the question. What does Ramiz make? Is he putting his name up at any point in the future to be the powerful man in Pakistan cricket?
Well, you see, maybe I don't have the temperament. My son comes up to me, says, my straight drive is not working. I said, go and ask your mom. I mean, I'm that kind of coach. So I don't think that I'm cut out for it right now.
I don't think we can end on a higher note than that. So this has been terrific. I know there are questions that are still pouring in, but it's been 40 minutes plus, and I think Ramiz is doing this standing. So I'm going to have a little bit of mercy on him as well. We'll do this again, I'm sure, at some point. So thank you very much to all of you that have sent in your questions with such enthusiasm. And apologies if I couldn't take some more of them, if they were coming thick and fast. But a bigger thank you to Ramiz Raja. Ramiz, I hope you've enjoyed that. This was great fun.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's great fun. It's always great fun to interact with the fans and obviously to have you there simplifying it for me. So thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ramiz. Take good care of yourself and your family in these times. And I hope we connect again soon on this. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.